Hey there, how are you doing today? So I hope that you've been learning JavaScript like crazy and finished this course with a deep understanding of how the language works and everything we can do with it in the browser. Now maybe you're aware of the fact that we can actually also use JavaScript outside of the browser. And the most popular way of doing so is by using a technology called Node.js, which we can use to create web servers and build the backends of our web applications. So in this bonus section, I want to give you a very brief crash course into Node.js by building a simple project using this modern and quite popular technology. Because in fact, we will still be using JavaScript. And so I thought it made perfect sense to include this topic as a bonus to the complete JavaScript course. So this is a small project that we're going to build with the terrible name, the laptop store. Okay, and so we have these 5 laptops here, and this page is actually completely generated on a Node.js web server. Okay, so when we click this button here, notice how the URL changes from product to laptop with the ID of 0. And so this laptop here has the ID 0. We can go back, and then Node.js again generates this page here. Then when we check out the second one, this one has the ID number 1. And as you can guess, this one will have the ID number 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so again, all of these are automatically generated by Node.js. And so that is exactly what we're going to build throughout this small crash course. So I hope that sounds and looks super exciting to you. And so let's now dive right in and start by getting a quick idea of what Node.js actually is. So the official definition is that Node.js is a JavaScript runtime built on the V8 JavaScript engine. Now that sounds a bit crazy, so what does it actually mean? Well, let's start by trying to understand what a JavaScript runtime and the V8 engine are. So as I mentioned in the beginning, if you have used JavaScript before, it was probably always just inside a browser, right? Because any browser natively understands HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And no matter if you write vanilla JavaScript, or React, or Angular, that's all just JavaScript that gets executed right in the browser. So in this case, the browser is a JavaScript runtime. But what if we could take JavaScript out of the browser and simply execute our code somewhere else, without all the restrictions that we have in the browser? Well, it turns out that we actually can, and the solution for this, as you can guess by now, is called Node.js. And so Node.js is just another JavaScript runtime. It's just like a container, like an environment in which a program written in JavaScript can be executed, but outside of any browser whatsoever. Alright? It's actually a bit more complex than that, of course, but for now this is enough. Now, who actually does execute the code if not the browser? And that's where the V8 engine developed by Google comes into play, because that is exactly where JavaScript code will be parsed and run in Node.js. Okay? So I hope that the definition of Node.js being a JavaScript runtime built on the V8 engine makes a lot more sense to you now. And again, remember that this is just a very high-level overview of what Node is and how it works. But in this small crash course, all I want is to really just give you a quick idea of what Node is and what amazing things we can do with it. Anyway, now that we have JavaScript outside of the browser in a kind of standalone environment, which is Node.js, we can do so much more things with JavaScript that were completely impossible before, like accessing the file system or better networking capabilities are not possible with Node.js. And all these factors together give us the perfect conditions for using Node.js as a web server, meaning that now we can finally use JavaScript on the server side of web development in order to build fast, highly scalable network applications for powering the back end of our websites or applications. Okay, and so let's do exactly that in the next video, where we're going to start building that project that I showed you. So I hope you're excited for that, and see you in a second.